Hello, viewers. Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. How are we all? Thank you very much for all your wonderful comments. Sensible, practical, sane, measured, thoughtful, cautious, all of those things. I can say that it's not easy to read on Jeffrey Epstein. Not easy at all. In fact, after that reading, it took a couple of days for me to shake off that energy. So yeah, thank you for supporting me and understanding how difficult it is, including legally, how difficult legally it is to read for about someone who's before the courts, or about to go before the courts. So let's move on. I'm just going to do a bit of a running reading today. I want to go over to the UK. Of course, we have had the UK ambassador to the US, leaked memos which really painted a fairly accurate portrait of the Trump government and Donald Trump. I particularly like the line where this ambassador, it's like I'm cheering on the sidelines for the ambassador. Go, ambassador! Who he said, of course, don't write off Donald Trump just yet, because like an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, he might emerge from the flames, victorious. Well, of course, I don't think he will, but I guess it underscores just what the allies think of Donald Trump. Now, Trump has been interfering like no other US president in UK politics, and it's pretty abysmal to witness, because they've got a fairly tumultuous set of circumstances at this time. There's a leadership battle going on in the Tory party. Of course, May, as you know, Theresa May stepped down. By the way, she's come out in support of the UK ambassador. Good on Theresa May. There are two front runners for the leadership of the Tory party. One, Jeremy Hunt, who has actually come out in support of the UK ambassador, and the second one, Boris Johnson, who, of course, is cut from the same cloth as Donald Trump. In fact, he's been embroiled in all sorts of things, from fake news, which there have been various organisations, not-for-profits, who have taken him off to court. There was some kind of domestic situation with his partner where the police were called. He is known for his, really far right-winged outrageousness. I think he's a former mayor of London. He is absolutely a Brexiter, and has said if he wins, he's going to withdraw the UK from the EU in October, with or without a deal. Of course, why anyone would say something so point blankly irresponsible, I don't know, because the UK cannot crash out of the EU. Okay, Hunt. I don't know much about Jeremy Hunt, other than he's a viable alternative to the Trump supporter Boris Johnson. Trump, of course, is in there, needling things and trying to push Johnson through. Brexit, of course, weakening the EU. We know how that plays into Putin's agenda. And of course, NATO as well. It all follows. The attempts, of course, to rearrange the world alliances and provide a pathway for Russia to become, more powerful, perhaps even a superpower eventually. All right, let's get started. So I want to read on Jeremy Hunt and Johnson, who may take that battle. I then want to go over to William Barr. What he's recused himself, then he's not recusing himself, and now he's recused himself from Florida investigations, Epstein in Florida, and but not in the SDNY investigation. So I want to dig down and see what happened there without necessarily going back into Epstein's energy, please. I can't do that. All right, let's get started. We'll go to the UK. The UK elections As I understand it, the choice will be made by the Tory party membership. I think there's about 160,000. So literally that's who's choosing the next PM of the UK, about 160,000 Tory members. Okay. That's what happens when you depose a sitting democratically elected Prime Minister, which we all know about in Australia. We've had a couple of instances of that happening here. All right, so successor to Theresa May. Who is that likely to be? Well, let's just look at Hunt, Jeremy Hunt. What is he likely? Is he a winner? Will Jeremy Hunt take the leadership? Will Jeremy Hunt take the leadership of the Tory party and become the next PM? Okay, we've got the King of Cups. He's certainly seen as more benign than Boris Johnson, perhaps a safer bet, a less controversial bet there. All right, Jeremy Hunt, what do we need to know? We've got the King of Cups coming out, a more supportive energy. Will Jeremy Hunt become the next leader of the Tory party and thus the next PM of the UK? Jeremy Hunt will become... Okay, let's have a look here. Oh, okay, so his challenge is endings. So we've got the King of Cups being challenged by endings. It's not necessarily a bad thing. We've got Theresa May's... Okay, so the energies perhaps could be that this more benign approach is going to be challenged by the ending of something. That's interesting. We'll see how these cards are going to play out. The Knight of Swords, we've got action and we've got truth. So that's not a bad card to come out as the foundation of the reading for Jeremy Hunt. It seems as though he's going to get on the front foot with things. Certainly can't be written off at this stage. The Nine of Wands, suggesting that in the UK people are pretty well over this. They're weary. They're putting up barriers. I spoke to someone yesterday about politics generally, who actually was in politics, and here in Australia we're actually in a similar way. We're actually tired. We're tired of the games, tired of the machinations, tired of the self-interest. We are tired of the factionalism and the disunity. We just want peace and quiet. Now, what happens in that instance is people begin to turn off and they become apathetic at the very time that they need to be mobilising. That's generally the state now of voters in the UK. Two of Pentacles, what's uppermost in Hunt's mind here, or what's in the sky? He is juggling. He's juggling the politics of Brexit, basically, and the politics of his own party. Interesting. Okay, the Four of Pentacles in the immediate future, not such a good card for Hunt. It's suggesting some kind of insecurity here for him. It's almost like, we know that Johnson is the front runner and that Jeremy Hunt is really coming from behind. He shouldn't be written off yet, though, but certainly I think, we've got in the lead up to the announcement or the voting, they could even be voting now, I'm not sure, but he will probably face, what appears to be a downturn in his campaign. However, currently at the moment, we've got this Sun card. So I feel that, as I said, you can't write Hunt off yet. There appears to be some illumination going on about, I would say, Johnson himself, which is playing into Hunt's hands. It's actually a benefit to Hunt because this Knight of Pentacles in the environment around Johnson saying is just going to crash out. I think even Hunt might have said that. I'm not sure. But certainly Hunt appears to be the more responsible. However, Johnson has the support of those who are, just want to, as I say, crash out of the EU. Interesting. Will cooler heads and saner heads prevail? Queen of Rods here in the hopes and fears, and this is the stability and the instability of the economy. This is quite a serious, significant choice. Unfortunately, a choice that only the Tory membership are going to make for the UK. So in that way, there's an injustice here, and there's a lot of fear around what's going on at this point in time. Three of Cups. That's, yeah, I didn't expect that card to come out. I thought it was a lay down misère, as they say in card playing for Johnson. It may not be. This is suggesting that the party, that Hunt may have a little bit more support than what we think from within the party. This is coming from Theresa May here, I feel. She might be rallying the troops. Absolutely. It could be that, yeah, the Star of Hope. Okay, so I think what's going on here at this point in time, remember tarot doesn't go too far out, is that Hunt may have the support, more support of the women vote in the Tory party than Johnson does have. Now, we talked about the domestic I don't know what it was, a domestic situation where Johnson was arguing with his partner and the police were called because of the loud noises, the arguing and the voices and the noises that were coming from his home. His next door neighbour called the police. That has gone against Johnson in terms of the women vote within the Tory party, and rightly so. And rightly so. Okay, so I wouldn't write off Hunt just yet. It looks like Theresa May might have thrown her support behind Jeremy Hunt. And we've got now this internal jockeying and lobbying here. Let's get on to Johnson and we'll see what's happening for him. Okay. Right, so I'm using my Aquarian deck for anybody who, it's actually a 70s deck, although I got it a bit later than that, but thank you for the viewer who pointed that out. Very old deck. It's actually really, really good to have, and I'm lucky to have it. This is very, very, very old, and it is an original. When I say it's an original, it's the first edition of this deck. Okay, so let me see. Boris Johnson. Let's read objectively on Boris Johnson. For all his past baggage, let's read on him objectively. Boris Johnson, is he likely to win the leadership and the prime ministership of the Tory party? The leadership of Boris Johnson, is Boris Johnson likely to win the leadership battle for the Tory party and become the next PM of the UK? Boris Johnson. Okay. Okay. So, we've got two cards that have come out here, and so we'll look at the. Okay. Yeah. All right. These will be our signifier cards. We've got the Three of Cups, suggesting he too has quite significant support. We've got the Chariot as a challenge for Johnson. Things are coming out quite quickly with Johnson. We could hear more. He's got baggage that he brings with him, and it's almost like, will the United Kingdom, will the UK establishment support someone like that? It's almost like they're a little bit overwhelmed by him. It's yeah. Let's have a look. Okay, 10 of Wands here. Even though he's the front runner, the polls are suggesting he's the favourite. This 10 of Rods or 10 of Wands is coming up, which means that there is some heavy lifting for him to do. Could be at any time in his campaign something might drop, and I'm feeling like he's been on the receiving end of negative publicity. That might not be over yet. Yeah, there's some secrets here with this Moon card around Johnson that he, something that's needing to come to the surface. Okay, however, what's uppermost in his mind is he wants it. He really, really wants that position. And this is really, I think he's been a thorn, as I understand it, in May's side. He's wanted that prime ministership for quite some time. This is his opportunity to take it, and he's throwing everything at it, including his supporters as well. So no wonder it's quite a hard-fought campaign here. The immediate future, yeah, these cards are suggesting, this battle weariness here, but also the existence of boundaries. What is he putting boundaries up for? There's something here that could come to the surface, although he has the sun in the current position as well. Now, Hunt had that. So what I'm going to say about that card is that I feel that people are hoping for illumination. They're hoping they want to move back to a more secure position. For the Brexiters, that's finally leaving the EU. For the Remainers, it's really wanting to move towards some surety. And indeed, I read, I think it was this morning, that the Labor leader Jeremy Corbyn, his leadership might also be in jeopardy as well. People want they want the situation illuminated. They want it fixed. Okay. Now the Queen of Rods in the environment around. Now this came up in the fear position. Interesting. When I put these cards strategically dispersed in this deck, shuffled copiously. Interesting that these cards are coming up. And why wouldn't they? Because this reading is not just about whether Hunt or Boris wins. It's really tapping into the energies that are existing in the UK at the moment. People are very much worried about their security, their economic security, their, I guess, job security, finances, etc. This is what's on their mind. But again, this weariness here. Now, hopes and fears. This is the sort of truth linking to the Moon card. There is something here that I feel Boris Johnson could be trying to hide. These are just my impressions on the tarot, drawing the tarot, but it seems to be there's something he's trying to hide. Okay, 5 of wands or rods. This is suggesting obstacles and challenges and faction fighting for Johnson. Interesting, we've drawn the family card here. I feel that this situation, and the anxiety. Okay, yeah. Okay, and things coming through fairly quickly. Could be more information, more controversy for Johnson. It's not going to go away. It's not going to go away. There are obstacles and challenges indicated for him. So at this stage of the game, even though he's the front runner, even if he were to be elected, the controversy will follow him. There is something there that he is trying to hide with the Moon card, suggesting that eventually it will permeate to the surface and he is going to have to work hard at trying to manage everything. Who are they going to choose? At this point in time, I would say that from those cards, it could be Hunt, that Boris Johnson may be too much of a risk. And I feel that domestic situation really did damage him in some way, particularly with the women in the Tory party who are likely to vote for Hunt. And the establishment, it seems like May is rallying the establishment behind Hunt. However, the Brexiters, the far right, the Nigel Farage type voters in the Tory party, wanting to take the party more toward a nationalistic type of model, they are going to throw their weight behind Johnson. So really anything could happen. What those cards did tell me, though, that there's something coming out around Johnson, whether it is before or after, if he's elected PM, there's something that's going to emerge, a secret that he's trying to keep hidden. Okay, possibly, if I had to say from those cards at this point in time, wouldn't write Jeremy Hunt off. All right, let's move over to William Barr. I'll just give these a good shuffle. I need to keep my eye on the time here. Okay. Barr. Will he? Why did he recuse himself? Then he walked it back. William Barr. Why did he recuse himself from the Epstein matter? Then he walked it back. Let's have a look. Why did he recuse himself? Why did he recuse himself? Then he walked his recusal back. Why did he walk his recusal back? Why did William Barr? The recusal was based on Barr being employed by the law firm that at one time defended Epstein, and also I think his father hired Epstein in the 70s. I'm not saying Barr is involved, but did he do this as in response to the president saying, "Why did you recuse yourself? You know, how could you recuse yourself? You need to be protecting me. You're my protector, etc." President could have got quite angry about his recusal, but let's see what the cards are saying. Why did William Barr walk his recusal back? Why did he walk his recusal back? Okay, so he the strength card, strength and endurance. He had to show it was a sign of strength for him. The Nine of Cups. He's challenged by someone's wish. I feel the president said, "You're not recusing yourself." Ten of Cups in the foundation of the reading. Well, that's the voters, the family card. Okay, so I feel that this is. Whether or not Trump is drawn up in all of this, I feel this is to protect Trump for in front of the 2020 election. And in fact, this is the White House here in the past. So I feel there was a direct communication from Trump to get Barr not to recuse himself, so that that he could still be Trump's Attorney General according to these tarot cards, and make sure the situation was balanced. Yeah, it was. Looks like at the request of Trump. Well, we're not surprised. Foundation of the reading, though, it's very risky for Barr to really even indulge in anything like this. If he were to interfere in that investigation, in that those charges, Epstein has this has been done before. This could take down the lot of them. It's that serious. Because there's been a cover-up type of scenario environment going on before, for Barr to even pick up a phone or interfere or try and interfere. Yeah, there's so much emotion here that he would be crucified. But why did he? King of Rods. Yeah, he wanted to retain that authority, even though he may not. He would be foolish to use it. When he recused himself, it was sort of like Jeff Sessions all over again. And so Trump, this is at the request of Trump, making sure that the investigation is, I would say this is standing on one's own feet, independence, etc. This, of course, is coming from Trump's fear of all of these investigations at the moment. And we've got the World card. So this, again, was a show of authority. And it came from, this is to, I guess, I'm not going to say prevent loss for the president, but just make sure he's there. He's still got the status of Attorney General. It is quite foolish, absolutely quite foolish for him to do that, because it just throws more scandal on the whole situation for Trump. So let's have a look if he actually will try and interfere in some way as the Attorney General. This is not such an outlandish question, because we know that there have been cover-ups in the past with what Acosta did. And that, of course, is a question that should be asked. Will Acosta have to stand down? There is mounting pressure for Trump's latest secretary to do just that. But first we'll have a quick draw on will Barr in any way try and interfere, or I feel it's just like even getting information. If you remember Matt Whitaker, he was communicating with the White House quite frequently. Will Barr William Barr try and interfere in any way? I feel like it's like he has to have that. He has to not give up that AG type of power even in this investigation, because Trump was Epstein's friend, could be involved, etc. Okay, so I'm not going back into that energy. I'm just telling you right now. Okay, so will Barr try and interfere in any way? Okay, so we've got, okay, right. Oh, a whole bunch of cards. We'll take them. I feel it's to prevent loss for this president, so that the president is not isolated in regard to this investigation, given that he could well come up in it. There's a justice element here, and then we've got the past. Okay, let's keep going. All right, there's some sort of loss here that he's trying to prevent. Trying to not have the president isolated, and we've got the justice card coming forward here. This the past is coming into this. The high priestess is something really that's still left to be told, and we've got the Star of Hope trying to provide some kind of hope for this president. A lot of major arcanas, or 2, 3, 4 major arcanas here: the Hermit, the High Priestess, Justice, and the Star. Let's keep going. Defending this president, perhaps. The Emperor, absolutely defending the Emperor. Oh, some sort of abuse of power here. And the Lovers. Oh, dear goodness gracious. The Sword of Truth, mirroring the Emperor card, and the Ten of Pentacles. This is connected, and this is what my first reading suggested. There could be some kind of money trail here. Okay, and what's hidden from our view is trying to run a smoke screen over things. I don't know whether Barr would be able to interfere, because all hell would break loose. But I feel what's happened here is that there has been he's walking back his recusal at the request of this president. This president is worried about something to do with this Epstein affair. We know what that could be. We don't need to state it again, but we'll certainly follow it and stay on it. Okay, Acosta, growing pressure for Acosta to stand down. We'll just 4 quick cards. Will Acosta be forced to step down? Will Acosta be forced to step down? Another day, another scandal in this regime. Will Acosta be forced to... Yeah, I'm feeling he will. Okay, King of Pentacles. This is Trump. Trump made, 4 of Cups, disappointment. And the Magician trying to... This is a Republican card. Acosta is a liability. With the 9 of Swords. I feel Acosta may announce that he's stepping down. Here, the president will use him. We know he doesn't give 2 hoots about anyone else but himself, and if Acosta has to fall on that sword, he will. This is huge. This whole Epstein matter is absolutely huge, and it's unfolding in real time, so we'll stay on it. But that's the reading today, going over to the UK and what's going on over there, and then now to America in what appears to be an unfolding breaking kind of story that my intuition is saying this president in one way or another will be drawn into. Thank you for tuning in, viewers.